Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I've been doing these future of theme park videos, mainly the future decade of different theme parks. Obviously, I did the future decade of Thorpe Park Resort, and then last week I did the future decade of Alton Towers, and I thought, why not take a break from all the Thorpe Park stuff and actually talk about Chessington, which is a park I actually haven't talked about in quite a while. I don't think, I've talked about it this year, actually. I think the last time I talked about it was in 2018, which is absolutely mental. So yeah, today I'm going to be doing a future decade of Chessington World of Adventures. Now, if you don't know how these videos work, pretty much I go over everything I think could be coming within the next decade. I'm not necessarily going to go through it year by year, because generally that takes a little bit too long, and obviously when things like construction happen, they generally do span over a couple of years. So I generally just collect them as a whole and judge them on that. So if you guys do go on to enjoy the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Literally, I say this every single video now, but literally the support on the channel over the last couple of weeks has been absolutely mental. We just hit 400 subs, so yeah, thank you guys for that. So yeah, a subscribe or a like will be appreciated, and it also does show me whether you guys are liking this content, because yeah, like I said, I will do more of these videos if you do enjoy them. A lot of people were commenting saying do, Pleasure Beach and stuff, and I have a little bit of a confession to make. I've actually never been to Blackpool Pleasure Beach, which, yeah, I know it's going to sound really, really crazy. I'm hoping to go within the next couple of years, but yeah, it's just quite far away, and obviously I don't have an annual pass for it, so yeah, it's just a bit confuzzled. But anyway, with all that said, let's get right into the video. Okay, so skipping past 2020 then, because obviously we already know what's coming in 2020, we're then going to be moving into 2021. Now, as a lot of you are most likely aware, last year at Chessington World of Adventures, we did actually have to say goodbye to Ramsay's Revenge. And shortly after, we did actually see some brand new plans being released for a brand new drop tower. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether these are concrete and they are actually real. I'm not too sure. Definitely let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, this is really interesting. Now, I actually think this is what's going to be coming in 2021. Obviously, with all the announcements for 2020 coming now, obviously, it's highly unlikely that it's going to be coming this year. Obviously, during the Winter's Tale event, obviously, that Chessington put on over the winter season, over Christmas, obviously, Ramsay's Revenge was still there. So it doesn't really look like they're in any kind of rush to remove it from the park. But yeah, obviously, this will be where this attraction does sit. And I do feel like a drop tower could really benefit Chessington. Obviously, Ramsay's Revenge was kind of the big thrill ride of the park, and obviously with that being removed, it kind of put a lot of people off. So adding a drop tower will be very, very interesting. Now, taking a look at the plans here. Obviously, it does look to be like a massive themed drop tower, which you don't really get too many of these. I've always said I feel like Detonators should be a themed drop tower. Obviously, I've always said the Angry Birds Land at Thorpe Park should be completely rethemed. However, it does look like you're going to be dropping down into a crocodile's mouth, which is actually really cool. I think this could be a really, really good idea. And depending on how tall this drop tower is, yeah, it could even potentially beat Detonator. Well, it probably will beat Detonator, to be honest, because Detonator's not actually themed. But yeah, you get the picture. Now, I can actually see this opening in 2021, like I said, because obviously Ramsay's Revenge hasn't been removed yet. And yeah, other than that, I don't really see a lot coming in 2021. Maybe some minor, adjustments. Obviously, it does seem to be that Chessington are trying to revamp many parts of the park. Obviously, Alton Towers are doing a similar thing, obviously with them refurbishing trying the Chocolate Factory last year, or in 2019, and then obviously this year they are then kind of revamping Tower Cuckoo Land. So it does look like both these parks are sharing a similar sort of goals in trying to revamp the rest of the park. Obviously, the new area, the rainforest that's coming, is covering quite a dead area of the park, quite an old area of the park as well. So it does look to be that Chessington are working on something like this. So yeah, potentially we could be seeing some more minor themed adjustments to the area in general. But yeah, I can see that being the major addition for 2021. Okay, so moving into 2022, then I actually kind of have a different kind of prediction for this year. I actually have a deconstruction prediction. Now, obviously, Chessington has got so many, classic rides at the park. Obviously, things like Dragon's Fury, Vampire, Toon Blast, I'm pretty sure it's called. I ain't been there in ages, so yeah, a lot of kind of old and classic rides. And obviously, we've seen the removal of Ramsay's Revenge. Does this mean to say that we could be saying goodbye to quite a few of these older rides? Now, obviously, as the years go on, the mechanics kind of get a little bit withered and they start to get dated, which I'm pretty sure is what happened with, Ramsay's Revenge. So potentially we could be seeing Toon Blasters getting removed. Now, obviously, like I said earlier, with this brand new drop tower that I'm assuming may be coming in 2021, maybe we could be seeing that area revamp into something a little bit different, maybe have it a sort of area within the area. which I think could be pretty cool. And obviously Toon Blast is one of them rides, much like Randy's Revenge, that yeah, is a classic but could use either being a refurb, you know, potentially something like that could happen, either that or the complete removal of it. Now they actually do have a couple of theories for the replacements. Potentially we could be seeing a brand new dark ride similar to the Gangster Granny ride mechanics that we got. If you didn't already know, obviously the Gangster Granny attraction is coming to Alton Towers Resort in 2020. It is very, very unique in the way that it moves. It almost kind of moves on a 360-degree axis on the track. So yeah, maybe potentially something like this could work. Obviously the track's all there, the space is all there, and something like this, you know, maybe keeping the theme in could be pretty good for Chessington. But yeah, other than that, I don't really see a lot coming this year. Maybe the construction for this could take up 2022 and release in 2023. But for now, seems it could be a refurbishment. I'm going to place it in 2022. Okay then, so moving into 2023 until 2025, I can potentially see a large-scale investment coming in this lot of time. Obviously, over the last couple of years, Chessington have kind of been slowly releasing smaller, kind of like attractions. Obviously, they had Tiger Rock, you know, stuff like that. Just kind of keeps the area nice and fresh. It obviously does keep attractions coming out every single year, but you know, we're yet to see a proper big investment for Chessington World of Adventures for a completely new experience. Now, obviously, everyone has kind of been saying that, you know, Chessington may need a new coaster at some point, and I kind of agree. Not necessarily a big thrill coaster, maybe a family coaster could do the park well. Obviously, they do have 2 coasters in total. Obviously, they have Dragon's Fury and Vampire, which are 2 very, very good coasters. However, coasters like Vampire are getting, like I said, quite dated now, so adding another coaster into the mix could potentially bring not only kind of families to the park, but thrill seekers as well, kind of want to experience a new coaster at the park as well. Now, in terms of where this coaster is going to go, I have absolutely no clue. Obviously, I don't really go to Chessington as much as I do a place like Thorpe Park and Wood Tower, so I don't necessarily know the layout of the park as much as, you know, the average person would. However, I do think maybe potentially we could be seeing it on the site of the Scorpion Express. I mean, it's not exactly a major addition to the park, and I don't think a lot of people would be too upset with its removal, especially how big that kind of plot of land is there. I do think that potentially a coaster maybe themed to kind of the rattlesnake type, you know, theme, kind of, I don't really know. Like I said, I don't go to this park as much, but something along the kind of like the Wild West lines could be really, really cool for potentially either a wooden coaster, an RMC, or very, very small scale wooden coaster RMCs, much like we've seen with Wicker Man over at Alton Towers, but obviously with a different theme. Because when you think about it, Wicker Man is a family coaster, and at the end of the day, it's not exactly the most exciting of layouts, so potentially something like this we could actually be seeing coming to Chessington within these years. Okay, so moving on into 2026 then, I have actually explained this in my Thorpe Park video that I did on this particular topic, and I did actually say I could potentially see there being a roller coaster restaurant added to Chessington World of Adventures. Now obviously, if you don't know what the roller coaster restaurant is, basically it's over at Alton Towers right now. Pretty much the way you order your food is you order them on iPads, the food actually comes down on tracks. Now I have actually got to experience this at Alton Towers Resort last year, and yeah, absolutely amazing. And if these are as successful as they are, potentially we could be seeing this coming to all of the Merlin parks. Like many, you know, restaurants and stuff have been carried over to different Merlin parks. I know that Rollover are trying to work to try and, you know, span over all the parks, and obviously we've got the pizza and pasta as well, so potentially something like this could connect all the parks together. And yeah, I think it would be a very, very interesting investment. Now, in terms of where this potentially could go, in terms of possible, you know, actual locations, I could potentially be seeing the sort of restaurant next to Vampire. I actually don't know what a restaurant is. I'm pretty sure it may be Burger Kitchen, but I could potentially see something like that going in there. Either that or maybe the deconstruction of something like the Gruffalo stage. However, I don't really think Chessington would actually want to do that, because obviously, yeah, they're a massive family park and that's kind of their big stage area. But yeah, I could definitely see something like this coming in 2026. It's kind of a minor addition to the park just to keep the guests coming in, and yeah, add something that could potentially start the spark for a brand new restaurant across all Merlin parks. Okay, so moving nicely into 2027 then, I actually don't really think too much is going to happen in this year. Now obviously I have explained this in my Thorpe Park and Alton Towers videos on this subject, and that is I feel like sometimes theme parks do need breather years. Obviously when you're kind of churning out loads and loads of attractions at a time and different sort of bits and bobs in the park, it does kind of leave you financially a little bit kind of broken. I know most of these attractions probably would draw in a lot of money, but you know, after like you've been working to add things over a couple of years, it's always nice to just kind of have a gap year when there's not really too much going on. Obviously Thorpe Park did do this, except their breather year was for about 3 to 4 years, and obviously last year Thorpe Park did actually add their event, so potentially we could be seeing something similar coming to Alton Towers and Chessington potentially at some point. I didn't really explain it too much in my Alton Towers video, but yeah, I do think maybe events could be the way forward for these breather years. Obviously, you know, it keeps the people coming in, and it's just a nice little addition. Obviously, we did see last year this sort of bouncy inflatable course at Chessington, much like Bouncy Lure over at Thorpe Park. So potentially that could be the start of something like this happening over some of the years. But yeah, other than that, not really much. I don't think it's going to be coming in 2027. So let's move into 2028. Okay, so moving into 2028 then, I kind of think that potentially, now this may piss a lot of people off, but I potentially think that Vampire could get rethemed. Now, I know a lot of you out there are probably very, very confused with what I'm saying here. However, in my last Chessington video, actually, back in 2018, I did actually say that potentially I could see Vampire getting a retheme at some point. And when you think about it, in 2028, it will be a long, long time since, you know, Vampire's been released, and obviously it'll be more than a decade away from us at the moment, or it'll be about 8 years from now. What? I'm stupid. Anyway, so yeah, potentially at this point Vampire could become very withered, not necessarily being broken down and reconstructed with a new coaster, which, don't get me wrong, is very much a possibility. However, I think just general maintenance and a refurb for Vampire could be really good. Keeping the same sort of theme, obviously with it being a vampire hunter, but maybe changing some of the theming around, adding some big set pieces to go along with the ride, because obviously at this point, you know, refurbishing attractions seems to be a trend. Obviously we've got a refurbishment of Chai and Chop Factory over at Alton Towers, obviously Thorpe Park refurbished X, and you know, something like this wouldn't really be out of place for Chessington to do, especially when it would probably bring a lot more families in if it kind of had more of an impact this time. Because obviously, you know, Chessington's, you know, theming for Vampire, don't get me wrong, is very good, but when you walk in there, you can kind of see it outdated. You know, I know that they've been, you know, doing minor changes like lights and stuff within the station, but it would be very, very nice to see some new branding for it and some new massive theming elements. And yeah, it could really, really bring back a lot more guests to the park. Okay, so moving into the final year in the decade. Now, I'm not going to make that mistake again. A lot, if you don't know already, in Thorpe Park video that I did on this, yeah, I counted 2030 as part of the decade, which, yeah, was a big mistake, and a lot of you pointed it out. However, yeah, this will be the final year, and once again, I can't really see too much happening this year. I can mainly see preparations starting for a brand new large-scale investment, maybe in the couple of years afterwards. But yeah, this I think will be another breather year. You know, for Chessington, I'm pretty sure they've got a decent roster of rides that they can work from at this point. Obviously, refurbing is probably their main goal at this point. Obviously, with them refurbing, you know, the jungle or the rainforest area, obviously we're getting refurbishing, you know, what they did with Tiger Rock. It does seem to be their end goal for a lot of their attractions in the future, and that's hence why I've kind of explained more refurb ideas than anything else in this video, is that because I kind of feel like that's the direction they're heading. Now, obviously, with a large-scale investment, it will come with a lot of preparation. So obviously, this will most likely be another breather year. Potentially, we could be seeing events again. But yeah, obviously, as we get later and later on into the future decade, it kind of gets harder to predict what will happen. Because obviously, we get less and less information, you know, intel what could potentially happen in there. So that will end it for today's video, guys. I hope you did enjoy. Definitely any video suggestions you guys have down in the comments below. I'll try to respond to as many of you guys as I can. Now, I'm thinking about bringing back Battle of the Coasters every Sunday, so if you did enjoy that when that was first released, definitely let me know, because yeah, I will 100% make it for you guys. And yeah, hopefully Thorpe Park will announce their big thing very, very soon, and obviously you guys know, as soon as that's announced, I will be jumping right onto it and making a video on it. So yeah, with all that said, I will see you guys later.